Step back in time and rediscover teen life before the internet changed everything. From mixtapes and mall culture to prank calls and handwritten notes, the 70s and 80s were full of unforgettable moments. Let's relive these classic experiences together. Teen communication in the 70s and 80s revolved around one essential device, the landline. If you wanted to talk to a friend, you had to dial their home number and hope their parents didn't answer first. Some lucky teens had a phone in their bedroom, but most had to fight for time on the family phone, often stretching the cord into another room for privacy. Having a long conversation was a balancing act. Too short, and it felt incomplete. Too long, and a parent would inevitably yell, "Get off the phone!" Call waiting and busy signals were everyday frustrations, and if no one was home, you had to call back later. No voicemail, no texting. With the rise of instant messaging and smartphones, this ritual faded away. Today's teens have unlimited communication at their fingertips, but they'll never know the thrill of passing secret notes in class to plan a phone call at exactly 7 p.m. Unlike today, where every moment is instantly captured and shared, taking pictures in the 70s and 80s was a slow and suspenseful process. First, you had to load a roll of film into a camera, carefully frame each shot, and hope you didn't accidentally cover the lens with your finger or cut someone's head off in the frame. Every picture counted because film was limited, and wasted shots meant lost memories. Once the roll was full, you'd drop it off at a photo lab or a 1-hour processing kiosk, then wait days, sometimes weeks, to see how they turned out. Blurry, overexposed, eyes closed? Too bad. There were no retakes, no filters, and no editing to fix them. This waiting game made photos feel more special. Teens would excitedly flip through freshly printed pictures, laughing at the bad ones and carefully saving the best for scrapbooks or locker decorations. Digital photography erased this anticipation, but it also took away the magic of holding physical memories in your hands. A mixtape wasn't just a playlist. It was a carefully crafted message, a musical love letter, or a token of friendship. Teens spent hours recording songs from the radio, waiting for the DJ to stop talking so they could press record at just the right moment. If you had a dual cassette deck, you could copy songs from another tape, but even that took patience. Mixtapes had personality. The order of songs mattered, and handwritten labels or doodles on the cassette case made them unique. Giving someone a mixtape meant something. It was personal, thoughtful, and a sign that you really got them. CDs and digital playlists eventually replaced mixtapes, but they lacked the hands-on effort that made them special. There was something magical about pressing play and hearing a carefully chosen song lineup unfold. But music wasn't just for private listening. Teens had another favorite hangout where they blasted their favorite tunes. For teens in the 70s and 80s, the mall wasn't just a place to shop. It was the center of social life. Groups of friends would spend hours wandering from store to store, flipping through records at the music shop, trying on clothes, and, most importantly, being seen. The food court was a prime hangout, where teens could grab a slice of pizza or sip a soda while chatting. Arcades provided endless entertainment, with kids crowding around pinball machines and Pac-Man cabinets, cheering each other on. Movie theaters inside malls made it easy to turn an afternoon of shopping into an all-day event. If you were lucky, you might even run into your crush while pretending to browse for jeans. As online shopping and social media took over, mall culture faded. While some malls still thrive, they no longer serve as the social hubs they once were. Teens today will never know the thrill of meeting friends without sending a text first. Before texting, there was note passing. Teens mastered the art of folding paper into tiny envelopes or elaborate triangles, carefully sliding notes across desks when the teacher wasn't looking. These handwritten messages contained everything from gossip and inside jokes to urgent, "Do you like him? Yes or no?" checkboxes. Getting caught was a risk. A strict teacher might confiscate the note, or worse, read it out loud. That added an extra layer of suspense, making every exchange feel like a secret mission. Some students even kept notebook conversations, where they passed a single notebook back and forth, filling it with doodles, stickers, and endless discussions about crushes and weekend plans. While texting is faster, it lacks the excitement of sneaking a note past a watchful teacher's eye and anxiously waiting for a response. There was something special about unfolding a handwritten message, knowing it was meant just for you. Do you remember the excitement of passing notes in class? Let us know in the comments. If you missed your favorite show in the 70s or 80s, There were no DVRs or streaming services to save you. Instead, you had to plan your schedule around TV guide listings, making sure you were in front of the television at the exact right time. Flipping through the TV guide or newspaper listings was a weekly ritual. Teens would circle the times of their must-watch shows, and if necessary, negotiate with family members for control of the remote or the knob on older TVs. If a show aired during dinner, you either begged to eat in the living room or hoped for a rerun. There was no skipping commercials, pausing for bathroom breaks, or watching on demand. You had one shot, and if you missed it, you had to wait for a rerun, sometimes months later. The struggle made watching your favorite show even more rewarding. And speaking of must-see moments, let's talk about waiting for your favorite song to play on the radio. Before MP3s and streaming, getting your favorite song required patience and perfect timing. Teens would sit by their boomboxes, fingers hovering over the record button, waiting for the radio DJ to finally play the track they desperately wanted. The goal was to hit record at just the right moment, avoiding the DJ's intro, station jingles, or any unwanted chatter. The frustration was real. Sometimes the DJ would talk over the song's intro, ruining the perfect recording. Other times, a commercial would cut in right before your song played, forcing you to wait and try again. But when everything lined up just right, and you captured the track from start to finish, it felt like winning the lottery. These homemade mixtapes became prized possessions, each track carefully recorded in real time. Unlike today, where any song is instantly available, crafting a perfect playlist took effort and dedication. Every mixtape was unique, reflecting a teen's identity, emotions, and personal taste. The weekend wasn't complete without a trip to the local video rental store. Whether it was Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, or a small independent shop, browsing the aisles was an adventure. Teens would scan the shelves, searching for the latest movies or arguing with friends over which one to pick. The most popular new releases were often rented out, leading to backup choices and sometimes heated debates. The ritual of picking a movie, grabbing some microwave popcorn, and racing home before late fees kicked in was a shared experience for an entire generation. VHS tapes needed to be rewound before returning, and nothing was worse than realizing the last renter didn't rewind their tape. Streaming killed the video rental era, making movies instantly accessible. While convenient, it lacks the excitement of physically choosing a movie, hoping it wasn't already rented, and making a whole night out of watching it with friends or family. Before smartphones stored every contact, teens had to actually remember phone numbers. The most important ones, best friends, crushes, and emergency contacts, were either memorized or carefully written in a pocket-sized address book. Losing that book was a disaster, and if you forgot a number, you had no choice but to ask around or hope it came back to you. Dialing numbers became second nature, and remembering them off the top of your head gave a sense of accomplishment. If you called a friend and got a busy signal, you had to keep redialing. No call waiting, no voicemail, just pure persistence. If no one picked up, you tried again later. Calling from a payphone added another challenge. If you ran out of coins mid-call, you either talked fast or got cut off. Today's teens have instant access to contacts with a single tap, but they'll never experience the pride of rattling off a number from memory like it was second nature. But phone calls weren't always about jokes. Sometimes they were a test of memory and persistence. Crank calls were the original form of trolling, providing endless entertainment for bored teens. With no caller ID, they could dial random numbers and pull off harmless pranks, like asking, "Is your refrigerator running?" or pretending to be a radio contest host. The real challenge was keeping a straight face and not laughing before hanging up. Some took prank calls even further, imitating teachers, neighbors, or even friends' parents to see how long they could keep the conversation going. Others would work up the courage to call their crush, only to panic and immediately hang up when they answered. These calls created inside jokes that could last for weeks, and some teens became legends in their friend groups for their prank calling skills. But eventually, caller ID and star 69, which revealed the last incoming call, made prank calls riskier. While some still attempted them, the golden era of anonymous phone pranks faded as technology advanced, making it much harder to get away with. Did you ever make a prank call, or were you the one getting pranked? Share your funniest memories in the comments. Before texting and social media, calling your crush on the phone was a nerve-wracking experience. There was no way to know who would pick up. Maybe it would be them, or maybe their mom. If a parent answered, you had to be polite and ask, "Hi, is crush's name there?" while trying to sound cool and composed. The scariest moment? When your crush finally picked up. Your heart would race as you tried to keep the conversation flowing without sounding awkward. If things got quiet, you'd desperately search for something to say. There were no emojis or LOL to fill the silence. Hanging up was just as tricky. If you were into them, you didn't want to end the call too soon, but staying on too long risked an impatient sibling yelling, "Get off the phone." These moments were full of anticipation, excitement, and sometimes complete embarrassment. Once caller ID and texting became the norm, this old-school phone drama faded away. Stickers weren't just for decorating notebooks, they were a big deal. Teens in the 70s and 80s traded and collected stickers like currency, with some keeping entire albums filled with puffy, glitter, and holographic designs. The most prized possessions? Scratch and sniff stickers that released scents like bubblegum, pizza, or even skunk. Lisa Frank stickers were especially popular in the 80s, with their bright neon colors and whimsical animals. Some stickers were too special to actually use, so they stayed tucked away in collections, only to be admired. Others made their way onto trapper keepers, locker doors, and personal diaries. Sticker trading was serious business. A rare design or scented sticker could fetch multiple trades, and swapping at recess or after school was part of the fun. While stickers still exist, the magic of collecting and trading them has faded, replaced by digital emojis and GIFs. Making plans with friends before the internet required actual commitment. You couldn't just text, "Where are you?" or send a location pin. Instead, you set a time and place, like meet at the arcade at 4 o'clock, and you showed up. If someone was late, you waited or hoped they'd eventually appear. Changing plans last minute was nearly impossible, unless you found a payphone or called from a friend's house. If your friend wasn't home, tough luck. You had to stick to the original plan and hope they got the message. Some teens left handwritten notes or called parents to relay messages. If a friend didn't show up, you either waited or had to go on without them. It was a test of trust. If you made a plan, you followed through. Today, with instant messaging and GPS tracking, last-minute changes are easy. But there was something special about knowing your friends would be there, no texts needed. And speaking of personal style, let's talk about how teens made their outfits unique with DIY fashion. Teens in the 70s and 80s loved customizing their clothes, making every outfit a reflection of their personality. Denim jackets were decorated with iron-on patches, embroidered details, and rock band logos, transforming basic clothing into bold fashion statements. Some teens even used bleach to create unique distressed jeans or ripped the knees for that effortlessly cool, rebellious look. T-shirts became creative canvases, featuring homemade tie-dye patterns, puffy paint designs, or cutouts for a customized fit. Sweatshirts often got the Flashdance-inspired off-the-shoulder treatment, while high-top sneakers and backpacks were doodled on with colorful markers. If you had a bedazzler, you could add rhinestones to just about anything: jean pockets, belts, or even baseball caps. Rolling up sleeves, knotting oversized shirts, and layering multiple accessories completed the DIY aesthetic. While fast fashion and big brand logos dominate today's trends, DIY fashion gave teens a unique way to stand out, experiment with their style, and express their creativity in a way that felt completely their own. A teenager's locker was more than just a place to store books. It was their space, a tiny personal sanctuary in the middle of school life. Decorating it was a rite of passage. Magazine cutouts of favorite celebrities, stickers, mini mirrors, and even battery-powered string lights transformed dull metal doors into works of art. Some teens took it to the next level, lining the inside with wallpaper or adding small shelves to organize gum, notes, and extra pens. Magnetic photo frames displayed snapshots of friends, and love notes or song lyrics were scribbled in the margins of notebooks inside. Lockers also became message hubs. Friends left folded notes or surprise gifts, making every trip between classes a little more exciting. As schools switched to digital books and personal backpacks, the importance of lockers faded. Today's students might never experience the fun of unlocking a tiny, personalized world between classes. Did you decorate your locker in high school? What was inside? Photos, stickers, or secret notes? Share your locker memories in the comments. Before the internet, the only way to keep up with celebrity news was through magazines. Teens eagerly waited for the latest issue of Tiger Beat, 17, or Rolling Stone to hit the shelves, flipping through glossy pages to read about the hottest stars. Some would head straight to the poster section, carefully tearing out pictures of John Travolta, Madonna, or the Brat Pack to tape onto their bedroom walls. The most dedicated fans went even further, clipping out interviews and collecting them in homemade scrapbooks filled with photos, song lyrics, and handwritten notes about their favorite musicians and actors. Magazines weren't just about celebrities. They also had fashion advice, relationship quizzes, and embarrassing moments columns, making every issue a must-read. Unlike today, where celebrity updates are constant, fans had to wait for their monthly dose of entertainment. While digital media is convenient, nothing compares to the excitement of grabbing a fresh magazine from the rack and devouring every page. For teens in the 70s and 80s, screen time wasn't a concern. Most fun happened outside. The rule was simple: be home when the streetlights turned on. Until then, bikes, skateboards, and roller skates ruled the streets, while games like tag, hide and seek, and kickball kept kids entertained for hours. Sidewalk chalk, hopscotch, and homemade obstacle courses turned neighborhoods into playgrounds. Teens gathered at local parks, rode bikes to the corner store for candy, or simply wandered, looking for adventure. Without cell phones, parents couldn't check in constantly, so there was a rare sense of freedom and independence. Spontaneous meetups were the norm, and plans were often made on the spot. Summer nights were filled with the sounds of crickets, distant laughter, and the occasional thud of a basketball. Everyone knew to head home when the sky darkened and streetlights flickered on. Today, with social media and gaming consoles keeping kids indoors, the magic of carefree outdoor adventures has nearly disappeared. From carefree outdoor adventures to private thoughts on paper, the next teen tradition was all about keeping secrets safe. Before social media, teens kept their thoughts and secrets locked away in personal diaries. These journals were filled with crush confessions, school drama, and daily emotions, all scribbled in messy handwriting with colorful pens. Many diaries even had tiny locks, because nothing was worse than a sibling sneaking a peek at your most private thoughts. Some teens hid theirs under the bed or in a drawer, hoping no one would find them. Unlike today's instant sharing culture, diaries were personal and unfiltered. There were no likes, comments, or judgments, just raw emotions poured onto the pages. Stickers, doodles, and song lyrics often decorated the margins, reflecting whatever mood the writer was in. Rereading old entries years later was like unlocking a time capsule of teenage life, filled with memories that once felt like the biggest deal ever. While blogs and social media now serve as modern diaries, they lack the privacy and intimacy of a handwritten journal, where every word truly belonged to you. A simple sheet of paper could predict your future. At least, that's what every teen believed. Paper fortune tellers, also called cootie catchers, were a staple in the 70s and 80s, helping teens answer life's most pressing questions. Who will I marry? How many kids will I have? Will I be rich? With just a few folds, a blank piece of paper transformed into a magical decision maker. Folding the paper just right took practice, but once mastered, fortune tellers became a go-to activity during boring classes or lunch breaks. Teens filled in the flaps with names, numbers, or funny outcomes, then let friends pick a color and number to reveal their fate. Some fortune tellers were silly, predicting things like, "You will be famous," or "You will live in a mansion." Others were more personal, often revolving around crushes and friendships. Though online quizzes exist today, nothing beats the excitement of unfolding a homemade fortune, even if you didn't like the answer. Long before YouTube, the only way to watch music videos was to tune in to MTV. Launched in 1981, the channel revolutionized how teens discovered new music. Watching your favorite artist's latest video wasn't just entertainment, it was an event. MTV played non-stop videos from icons like Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Prince, turning them into global superstars. Teens rushed home to catch Total Request Live, TRL, in the 90s, where the top videos of the day were counted down. If you missed a premiere, you had to wait for a rerun. No instant replays, no skipping, just pure anticipation. Music videos were more than just performances. They had storytelling, fashion, and iconic dance moves. Some, like Thriller or Like a Virgin, became cultural milestones. As the internet took over, MTV shifted away from music videos, leaving a gap in pop culture history. Today's streaming platforms make everything accessible. but they lack the excitement of waiting for your favorite video to air. Do you remember rushing home to watch your favorite music videos on MTV? Which ones were your favorites? I hope you enjoyed this journey through teen life before the internet. Which of these memories do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments. Until next time.